Welcome to a special bonus edition of the Mountain Matchups podcast. I'm here with Warren and Corey. We're going to break down the new hire for UNC, Bill Belichick, and what it means for Western North Carolina. And so we'll get to the effects it's going to have on WNC players and athletes here in a bit. But I want to hear your initial reactions to the hire that UNC made of the 8-time Super Bowl champ Bill Belichick going to UNC. Corey, start us off.
Well, first off, I mean, unlike you, like we mentioned the other day, I, from the get-go, heard of this, was pumped about it immediately, but I even commented on Inside Carolina stuff and was like, guys, this sounds great and all, but there's no freaking way. I was like, why would this guy want to come out of the, what all he did in the pros? He's been in retirement, clearly enjoying what he's been doing now. I was like, why would this guy want to come? And he has nothing to prove. Right. And then the talk started getting more and more serious. Find out that he's all about it. He's extended the offer to us. Me and you were sitting here like, are we going to do it? Or are we not going to do it? You start to get on the train a little bit. And because the whole time I thought about it, I was like we touched on before, the dude's been in the pros. He's dealt with players and money. And the college game has changed with NIL. Stressing if Carolina was going to actually invest in the football program for once. It's been hurting us in basketball, I feel like, with our recruiting. College is just totally different now. And so from the get-go that I heard about this, I was pumped about it, was expecting Carolina to let me down. And what do you know? They pulled through for the boy. So
they did.
I'm pumped about it.
Yeah, they came through. Like Corey was saying, we're used to being heartbroken as UNC fans. Warren knows a little bit about breaking UNC's hearts. Warren, what do you think about the hire?
You guys should still be heartbroken. You guys just got rid of a 73-year-old and Mac Brown for a 72-year-old who just got run out of his last job for failing at roster management and adjusting to a new era. Now he's never coached in college. Now he's going to be a college coach and try to have roster management when he couldn't even do it his last 4 years in New England without Tom Brady. I'm going to read you guys a quote off the Pat McAfee show that really perturbed me. He said he wants UNC to be a pipeline to the NFL for players who have the ability to play in the NFL. Duh. What do you think 3/4 of D1 schools do? If you have the ability to play in the NFL, I'm pretty sure their coaches are going to try to get them to the NFL. Then he goes on to say, we're going to be geared towards developing time management, discipline, structure, and life skills, regardless of whether it's for the NFL or somewhere in business. No crap, man. That's what college is for. If you can't go to the NFL, it's your job as a coach and mentor to get them to do something great outside of the NFL. It's such a lame freaking comment. It's just, I don't know. It just really bothered me a little bit. He's 72 years old. I think his last 4 years in New England is 34 and 48 or something. Terrible roster management. He thinks he can go to UNC, never coaching, never coached college ball, recruiting, this and that. I know he's hired he hired a great GM, saw him on McAfee earlier. But I think UNC fans are going to be hurting here in about a year and a half, especially whenever he leaves.
You know what I think it is, Warren? I think you're scared. Yeah. I think you're scared to death.
I think you should be scared because this might have been before you were even born. Belichick in 2000 was hired by the New York Jets. Right before his press conference, he left to go to the Patriots. I'm going to laugh if he actually does the same to UNC. Say a job opens last minute for the Cowboys, Giants. He'd love to coach for the Giants. He wants to be back in the NFL. The 7 NFL teams passed on him last season. UNC. Sorry, go ahead.
Here's the thing, Warren. The most exciting part about his hiring is not Bill Belichick. It's cool. It's a cool experiment. But the most exciting thing is UNC is finally taking football seriously. Like, they are going chips all in. They're ready to freaking roll. Now, this Belichick experiment may not work, but they're setting themselves up for the next coach and beyond that. They're really trying to take the forefront of college football with the restructuring they've made internally. That's what's most exciting.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I think I saw they increased their NIL budget from $4 to $20 million, which is that is a massive deal.
That's big boy money.
And
know,
and
most-
imagine how you would feel as a Duke fan to see a kind of jump like that in your football program. Instead, y'all want to fiddle fart around with Manny Diaz.
Duke's had great coaches. Every time we have a great coach, they leave. Like,
Yeah, can you blame them?
Can you blame them? You guys keep hiring
He's hurt.
You guys keep hiring old man Mac, and now another senior citizen that might have 10 years left to live, if that. I mean, good Lord. Did you look at his contract as well? Only 3 years guaranteed. UNC's protecting himself in case he leaves. Like Caleb said, the main important object is they increase their NIL money, and they're getting infrastructure in there. But if that's for Belichick, if Belichick leaves, do you think they're going to keep the same thing going on for, in case you guys hire the James Madison coach that blew you guys out 70-50 or what?
Did you even watch the press conference? Bubba Cunningham, the AD at Chapel Hill, I text Caleb immediately during the press conference and was like, they're finally getting it. Yes, I know it's a press conference and you want to have the right answers, but the dude's talking about how, like, he even mentioned basketball and how this is all going to help everything, and said it's pretty much said it's about time that we do this.
Well, it's basically helped Hubert Davis out because his team's 5-4, and now instead of fans talking about firing him, they're like, okay, we got Belichick. We'll leave him alone for a couple weeks.
Now we're getting to understanding why Warren's worried. He's worried that money's going to flow over to UNC, and all these recruits Duke's been picking up might change their mind once we open up the pocketbook, buddy.
We got the number one transfer portal QB in the country. We're going to be all right.
Y'all get the number one in a lot of things, and you do like the least amount that any university has ever done with them. So,
or UNC basketball right now is 5-4, and right now, what's UNC football playing?
You got beat by Caleb Love, dude.
What are you talking about? Freaking Caleb Love right now. That was like 2 years ago.
I know, but I'm just gonna never let you forget that.
UNC football is playing in the Fenway Park Bowl, or what's that? What bowl is it? The Fenway Bowl.
Dude, Caleb Love.
It's not the bowl that Duke's going to get destroyed by Ole Miss in. I can tell you that.
Hey, at least we're playing in the Gator Bowl. You guys are
without
playing
a quarterback. Congrats.
The Swiss Army Knife Bowl or something.
Your quarterback quit.
Well, he got replaced by a better quarterback.
He woke up and he said, "Oh my God, I'm at Duke."
Yeah, Mac Brown got replaced by someone nearly as old as he is. God.
Yeah, with a lot more credibility too.
Actually, if you're talking about on the college level, Mac Brown's won a national title. Belichick,
yeah, because of Vince Young one time back in 2005. What does he have?
That's like me. That's like me saying Belichick won 6 Super Bowl titles as a head coach because of Tom Brady.
I'm not comparing it to college though. I'm saying, but when you take a coach, whether it's college or NFL, especially the guy at the higher level who has freaking 8 Super Bowls, Warren, what are you talking about?
When you take Tom Brady out of the equation, Belichick's only won 44% of his freaking games. That's whenever he's the head coach of the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, that's going way back too early. Like,
we can go his last 4 seasons of the Pats without Brady. Brady leaves the Pats immediately, goes and wins the Super Bowl without him.
On a stacked team, and Belichick took Mac Jones.
It wasn't that stacked.
You also
Get
realize
out of here.
The Bucks weren't that stacked that year.
Hold on. Belichick also took Mac Jones to the playoffs. Tell me that ain't impressive.
That's before. I mean, that's a solid season for Bill.
Do you recall?
That's the only solid season he's had without Brady.
Do you recall the loaded defenses that they had though? And now UNC, it's going to transpire there, and you're just mad that Duke's probably not even get a field goal against us.
Oh, get the hell out of here with that, Corey. That's just nonsense.
We'll see.
Crazy. Duke's not even going to hit a field goal against us, guys.
So
that's how you know Warren's mad as he starts talking in his little goo goo gaga voice.
I'm not mad at all. I told you, I'm very happy for this hire. I'm very happy. I can't wait to watch it burn down. And I will talk about it on every podcast, even during every week.
When I'm sending you Hell's Bells Snapchats and we're running up the score on y'all 70-0, you better reply, or I'm coming to your house.
See, he doesn't even know what Hell's Bells is because he's too busy stuck listening to what's the Duke song? Every time I touch, I get this feeling.
Didn't Hell's Bells come out?
Really exciting.
Didn't Hell's Bells come out when Warren was in high school?
Whenever Belichick leaves you guys and ruins, you guys are gonna be listening to Sarah McLachlan, like those dog commercials. Oh, please help me. That's how depressed you guys are going to be. So I don't want to hear it. Now.
Are you talking about the Angel song?
In the arms of an angel. That's what you guys are going to be listening to whenever Belichick ruins you guys' lives. I'm glad you guys are happy now because you won't be soon.
Warren, I can't be let down any more than I've been let down. That's what you're not understanding.
You can, though. Oh, you can. If football don't do it to you, UNC basketball this season will. God, you guys are pathetic.
So suffice to say, Warren is not a fan, or maybe he is because he thinks it's going to blow up. Me and Corey feel good about it. Either way, you have a 8-time Super Bowl champion right down the road from Western North Carolina. And I think we need to talk about the impact that could potentially have on the athletes, coaches, and programs that are in the area. So, Corey, I know you are a coach, at the middle school level. You've coached high school basketball. So you've been around that environment. Do you think there's pressure from coaches in the area knowing someone like that could have their staff pop in any minute if they have a player that's worth getting looked at, or trying to even bolster their program by connecting with a player or a coach like that? What do you think about that?
Well, to say that there would be no pressure, that would just be silly. I mean, I, for one, just from the coaching aspect of it, would feel like there's more pressure on me if I have a kid that's got that much talent, for me to get them noticed and to reach out to these coaches. If I believe I've got a kid that's Carolina level talent, you know, you can play at a D1 ACC school in football. And so, yeah, I would feel the pressure on myself to make sure that I handle things right and try to get my kid the best chance with that school. But and as far as the kid, I mean, if you know you're good enough to go play at that level, especially if you start, you know, getting in contact with these coaches, you might feel some pressure to perform your best. But at the same time, me as a coach, I'm going to try to, even though I probably would be feeling a bit of pressure, I'm going to also try to play it cool, tell my kid, you know, and you can tell a kid as much as you want to not worry about the pressure and all the media and all the popularity and whatever's going on. And you can only tell them that so much. Obviously, they're going to feel a little bit, but you just have to be a motivator and an encourager in that situation. Tell your kid to go out there and ball out. Tell that kid to use that as motivation. If you're truly that good, I personally, as a player, would want to work even harder, knowing that, I mean, it'd be cool anyways for a D1 school to be looking at you somewhere like Carolina, but especially a coach like Bill Belichick. I mean, yeah, you got to feel some type of pressure.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, if you've got that chance, you got to seize the moment, you know?
Yeah, but we're not talking about just any coach, right? Like any time a program in North Carolina makes a new hire, there's going to be excitement, right?
Right.
But this is something different. Again, not talking about whether or not he's going to be successful. The clout that he brings should like raise interest in coaches and players across Western North Carolina. So go ahead, Corey. What were you saying?
And I was going to say, and that's why I say it would be foolish to try and play it off like, oh, there's no pressure. There's, you know, play it cool and everything. Like, no, you're going to feel something. You know what I mean? I mean, it's enough pressure anyways to know you're that good and your whole town's watching you and stuff like that. But at the same time, like I said, you got to use that as motivation and think like, hey, I could go play for a coach like this. And yeah, that's what dreams are made of.
And so in Belichick's press conference today, he was asked, you know, are you actually going to go into like living rooms of these players and whatnot? And he said he was open to it. He said there's restrictions that are in place to how many visits coaches can make. And he said a lot of times, you know, it's going to happen on campus if he's going to meet with players. But he was like, yeah, I'm interested in doing it. Imagine if you're a player, we'll throw out a school like Reynolds. Reynolds was playing Asheville on a Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking Bill Belichick walks into the stadium. Like, this is not just any coach. That's what, Warren, I think I'm trying to wrap your head around. This is not just any coach. This is freaking Bill Belichick, who has achieved the top of the top. Like, that's an insane amount of pressure, I would think.
I will give him credit on his press conference, and I have this quote. He said, we want to recruit well in this state and this area. And he said he would absolutely visit recruits on in-home visits. How many in-home visits he's going to have, I'm not sure, because he doesn't – I don't think he's going to do very well at that. He's going to be like, do you want to come to school for us or not? But the mere fact he said that, I think, bodes well for not only him, UNC, and also the players in Western North Carolina as well.
And I want to touch on that too and say he would be a fool to think that I don't think he's this stupid that you can't like Warren said, we don't know how many of those visits he's going to go on. He might go to the top of the line kids and try and get them there, but he knows that college is different than the pros. It's not like just now there's money involved. It is somewhat of a business, but it's not just strictly business like NFL. You have you've got to go and make some visits with family and try and persuade. I mean, you're talking to kids. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you have say there's a player picking between Texas and UNC, just two colleges out of they're offering the same amount of money. You have to visit and make relationships with the family, with the player. You can't just give them a phone call and be like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah, when you coach for the Patriots, you don't have to talk to homeboy's mom and say, I really want your kid to come play for us and stuff like that. I mean, you just don't do that. But in college, you got to persuade families too on why do they want their baby to go play for you,
Go ahead, Caleb.
Counterpoint, Coach Prime at Colorado, he doesn't go into a lot of homes. He does if it's like a big-time recruit that he has to go in and seal.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what he does? Warren, hold on.
I'm letting you talk.
He gets a phone call. He gets a phone call from a kid and says, "Where do you want to go?" And the kid's like, "You know what? Alabama's offering me $10 million." And he says, "Well, I think you're good enough, and I'll give you 12." Or he says, "See you later," and goes to the next kid. He's not out there sitting in living rooms. So this is not an unprecedented situation that UNC is approaching. They're just trying to take it to another level.
Coach Prime has 20 times the charisma as Belichick.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It matters a lot.
No, it doesn't.
It absolutely does. Coach Prime has 20 times the charisma as Belichick, but it's just the way it is. It's hard for me to explain it, to be honest with you.
Well, here, I can explain it for you. He doesn't go into living rooms, Warren.
Because he doesn't have to.
It doesn't matter if he has so you're saying his charisma just appeals to people overall and it doesn't matter?
I think his NFL career and everything appeals more than Belichick or really any coach for that matter.
Why? Just because Deion Sanders is younger?
Just because it's Deion freaking Sanders. Yeah, stuff like that appeals to kids. Stuff like that appeals to kids.
So does freaking 8 Super Bowls, Warren.
What are we talking about here?
Belichick's 72 freaking years old. I don't think he appeals to these kids as much as you guys think.
I don't think a kid is sitting there like, "Hey, I want to go to the NFL. Here's a great dude that has won 8 Super Bowls and has all kinds of connection to NFL. But oh, you know what? He's 7 years old. Yeah, probably not going to go play for that guy."
Yeah, and the last time he won a Super Bowl, I was 3 years old.
I know that's a dang lie. That's not even close to the truth.
Bill Belichick has had more recent NFL success than Deion has, period, and more. So,
but Deion's had way more college success recently than Belichick ever has, obviously.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And we're getting way off topic here.
Yeah, sorry about that.
We're good. We're good. I like it. Let's circle back, though. Let's talk about what it means for the players. So, the fact of the matter is a lot of Western North Carolina players don't get looked at. They're tucked away in the mountains for whatever reason. They don't get the spotlight on them. That's a part of why we started this podcast, to boost more awareness and get recognition out to those players and coaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not unheard of. Like we've had players in this area go on to have college and NFL success. You look at Rico Dowdle. He's playing for the Cowboys right now. That's an AC Reynolds guy. Jagger Gardner played at Owen, went to Temple. Yet Cresden Butler, Johnny White, both played at the ACC. Johnny White at UNC and Clemson, or Cresden Butler at Clemson. So in even recent history, these things have happened. So it's a possibility. You got to make a name for yourself. But Warren, I want to hear you talk about what these players might feel with Bill Belichick, 8-time Super Bowl champion, right down the road in their backyard. What are they thinking?
They got to be feeling a little bit of excitement. You know, you start performing on Friday nights thinking, you know, like you guys said, 8-time Super Bowl champ at Chapel Hill now. And I know, unfortunately, UNC's probably one of their favorite schools. So, you know, Just thinking about him, maybe potentially recruiting you's got to be pretty exciting if I was a player, to be honest.
And beyond that, I think about like if Belichick does do coaching clinics, like that's pretty freaking awesome. All these coaches in the area are going to be there. Done. It's a done deal. They're going to be front and center to see all that. So in all, I think it's a positive. I don't think it's a typical coaching hire that we can just write off as like some new guy coming in. Like this is the top of the top. It's a Hall of Famer right here in our backyard. It's a big deal.
I think it's a positive for any high school football player in the state, especially whenever he says he's going to recruit in-state and do in-home visits. He didn't state specifically if he's going to do in-home visits in-state, which I'm sure he would if it's a badass player. But, you know, it's got to be an exciting time to be a high school football player, knowing you got one of the best, not the best, but one of the best coaches of all time coaching at UNC.
I like how he touched on too in his press conference. He said, like, of course they're going to recruit the kids nationally, but some kids, you know, are just not going to want to leave their regions. But he said the North Carolina kids, like, by God, we're going after them. That's awesome to hear.
For sure. So if you are an athlete in the area and you want to get noticed, go stand out under those Friday night lights, and just know that the Mountain Matchups podcast is behind you. We're going to celebrate you and root for you. And who knows? Maybe one day you'll be playing for 8-time Super Bowl champ right down the road.
Or in Raleigh-Durham.
No. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you joining me. We wanted to do a quick little reaction podcast because we did think it was significant for the area. And it's a little bonus episode for y'all. So thanks for joining me. And we'll talk to you later. Love you guys.
Love you.